to Muse on the Mic. I'm Riley.
And I'm Emily. Welcome back and thanks for joining us again on an awesome YouTube video. We are recording episode 24? So excited that we're here. So while you guys are here, make sure you join the Patreon because we've got even spicier episodes over there. They're exclusive. It's $9 to subscribe. You get access to all of our content and all of our episodes. As well, follow us on social media. You can find all those links in the description below. And let's give any new viewers a quick introduction about who we are. We own a spicy, happy ending erotic massage parlor in Toronto, Canada. And we've been open for 14 and a half years. And we got a lot to tell. We got a lot of stories, but we also have insight on a lot of relationship-y type things, pop culture and trending things as well. And I think that's kind of the direction we're going today. Riley, tell us all the things.
It is. We're going to dive into a video that's really trendy right now on TikTok. The video we're watching is by a guy from Facebook. His name's Derek Branch, and he's getting into a video that's getting a lot of hype on TikTok. It's about this woman named Risa. She has 1.7 million followers that I have to assume just kind of came recently with this storytelling she's doing. And the story is, who the fuck did I marry? And I think that's so relatable to so many of us. But her story, which we're only getting, the first part at this point, it's an interesting one. So we're going to take you along for the ride with us.
I'm so excited about this because as much as it's not directly massage parlor related, I find it so relatable to what both customers and workers deal with in terms of managing their own marriages or relationships. The lies that you have to tell to get around either working or hobbying, as they call it, as a customer. And those what the fuck moments that every relationship has, especially if y'all been busy for a few years and finally sit together and you're like, who the fuck is this person? Or 5 years in and some new personality trait comes out that you didn't sign up for. And so many of the life changes that happen with marriage. I mean, marriage is a ride. So this woman's story seems like more than a ride. It's an entire amusement park.
Oh,
I have
it is.
so many friends that are like binge watching it right now because her videos are very long. Derek does a nice summary for us, and we will definitely be back with a part 2 once he does the summary as well. But I'm kind of excited to jump into this drama because it is spicy tea.
It is. Buckle up, guys.
All right, let's rock.
Okay, guys, so Risa makes this introduction video. She says she's gonna break down the whole thing, the whole truth, even the stuff that don't even make her look good. The whole thing. And it starts off like this. Risa meets this guy on Facebook on March 4th. We're gonna call him Ted. She later notices that she also matched with Ted on Hinge. Eventually, they have their first phone call. Ted says he just moved to Georgia. He's a regional manager for some company. He just went through a divorce. He caught his wife cheating on him. Right now, his job pays for his apartment, and they're helping him find a house. Just basic stuff. His job is very demanding. He doesn't know many people out here. He's just working through it. Risa says she works state patrol. Basically, guys, they're getting to know each other. Now, they talk for a few more days, and they set up their first date at the Cheesecake Factory. Which is funny, because supposedly Cheesecake Factory is like one of the first worst dates that you could choose. But Risa was down. Now, on the way there, she says she heard a boom. Whatever that means, it made her swerve a little bit. But she was able to figure it out and she was okay unscathed. But ended up getting a flat tire. She calls Ted and say, look, yo, my tire's flat. I don't know what to do. He was like, just stay right there. I'll pull up. I got you. Now, when he pulled up, she said this fine 6'5" man got out the car. And she was like, oh my God, you look just like your pictures. This man got out his car and replaced her tire for her. When he was done, he was like, Risa, you can't drive in that replacement tire. So let's go over to this shop down the street. They go to the tire shop, and this man paid for the entire service. Risa was like, wow. And then they drove their car to Cheesecake Factory, got out the car, and he held her hand into the building. Risa was like, I'm having butterflies. Like, wow. But their table wasn't ready yet, so they go back outside and just start talking. And he lays it all on the table. He's saying he ready to be married. He ready to have kids, a house, picket fence, all that. Risa says she wanted the same thing. The table's finally ready, they go inside. And their first date was a vibe. After the date, they don't go home. They both get in his car. And they get to talking again. He was like, I gotta show you a song. This man started playing John Legend, A Good Night. and made sure she heard the
Red
part where he
flag,
said, I
red
think I just
flag.
met my wife. So this right here making Risa melt. They continue to get to know each other. In San Diego, Ted used to play arena football. He was in the championships. He worked a lot of IT. They talked about each other's exes. I don't know how that happened. She tells him how she dated someone from work, which Risa says that gets brought back up later. Da-da-da-da-da, she go home. I thought he was going to hit for show, but that didn't happen. Now after this, Risa and Ted continue to go on dates. Now remember, this is 2020 March. So 2 weeks later, Georgia had to shut down because of COVID. Risa and Ted didn't want to be apart. So Risa's like, are we
Atlanta,
quarantining at your
Georgia.
house or my house? Ted's like, either one is cool, but just remember, I'm in like a studio apartment. My job is still trying to find me a house. Ted even shows Risa an email that his job is still trying to find him a house. Risa was like, well, I got a 3-bedroom house, so you just come over here. Risa did feel like it was a bad decision, because she goes to church and basically now she's shacking up without getting married. And she kind of skipped here, because she said they were quarantining, but after that sentence, she said he moved in. Why would it's been like 3-4 weeks. You don't even know this man. Like, guys, why do y'all do this? I get it, you're in love, but what the hell? Now Risa was like, hey y'all, I get it. But this man moved in and he's paying all the bills. He's paying all of the rent and the utilities. I just gotta handle the little stuff. And she was loving the feeling of not having to pay a bill. On top of that, they were both clean. They were both cook. So living together was a vibe. But damn it, guys, where's my glasses? Don't do that. Wait like at least a year. If I was wrong, then we wouldn't have this tragic story right here. Dead ass. Stop it. I know you love him.
He's so funny.
Get your own crib. Let him get his own crib and visit. Now, a couple days later, a week, I don't know, they decide to have a serious talk. Because Ted's getting his house within a month. Is it going to be just for him or is it going to be both of them? He shows Risa paperwork that he got approved for $750,000 on a mortgage. Risa was like, yeah, I don't know if I can afford a mortgage like that. So if you can, sure. Ted says, no, chill. Arena football paid him well. He invested the money in a lot of places, offshore accounts. He got multiple bank accounts, all that. So they agree to get this house together because they're both serious about this relationship. Ted contacts his realtor friend and they find him a house in Douglasville. When Risa tells this story, she says, I owe this realtor an apology for something she did. I don't know yet, guys, but we gonna get there. April comes around and they do like a FaceTime viewing of the house. I guess that's something they did in COVID. I'm not doing that shit. I gotta see the house. They end up liking the house and Ted tells Risa that he put in an offer. Now at this point, Risa says they're girlfriend and boyfriend. I don't know how we got there, but we're here. And it's been a month-ish. They're official. The realtor calls Risa and says, hey, we need proof of funds for the house you're getting. Risa says, I don't know much about that. You gotta call my man. He says, okay. Risa assumes they talk, but still later lets her man know that like he's looking for the paperwork. Ted says, don't worry, I sent the paperwork. We were approved. We just need a house inspection and we can do a virtual closing. And Ted says, I already put down $5,000 on the house. We should be in there by June. Now guys, this is where it gets interesting. 4 days later, the realtor calls Risa again. The realtor says, hey Risa, are y'all still getting the house? I haven't heard from you. Risa was like, what do you mean? I thought we were set up. Realtor's like, I don't got nothing on my end. Risa's like, my man put down $5,000. Realtor's like, okay, I'll give him a call. Now at this point, guys, Risa said this was her first red flag. And this is our first red flag of who the hell did we just marry? Risa calls Ted and tells him what the realtor said. Now, I don't know if this is the narcissistic pathological stuff right here, but Ted gets mad. He's like, that realtor shouldn't be calling you. He should only be talking to me. She's like, well, did you put the offer in? Ted says, no, I put the offer in with a friend who's also a realtor so I can give him the business. Which, that's what she said verbatim. I don't even know what that means. Risa's like, well, is the house under contract or not? He's like, yes. Later, Risa checks the house online because she wanted to like figure out how she was going to decorate it. And the house said it was under contract. Ted was like, oh, you didn't believe me, huh? Which low-key she didn't. But this gave her some faith. Ted's like, I want to start ordering furniture. I want to make sure it's all in stock so when we get the crib, it's all ready. The sellers of the house said they're taking the appliances. So they have to get that too. So they go to Home Depot and get everything that they need. They get all of the appliances and furniture on hold. And Risa watches him put down the down payment. Then May comes around. They still haven't done the inspection. Risa was like, Ted, what's the holdup? And it seems to be like there's always some kind of like excuse. And there was. Ted said that the inspection guy got COVID, so it's gonna take a little longer. Now at this point, Risa's like, something is wrong here and things are not adding up. So she makes an audio diary and records all of her thoughts, everything dated. Something just told her she needed to do this. She's thinking he's lying, but she's like, how could he be lying if I'm literally watching him pay for everything? I haven't caught him in a lie before. She said, maybe I'm just not used to a good man. So time goes on. It's the middle of May, and guys, oh my God. Risa finds out that she is pregnant. Yeah, I know, guys, pregnant. And they met 2 months ago. Wait. You let him hit Raw? Risa, you let him hit Raw? Raw? Guys, stop letting these men hit you raw in the first, 2 months. Raw! She tell Ted, this man happy as hell. He like, yes. How you doing that? And it's been 2 months. That's insane. Risa was panicking. Not only that, she's in her 40s, so she's like, bro, this is a pregnancy risk. She goes to the hospital. They don't let Ted in because it's COVID. Doctor was like, yep, Risa, you're pregnant. And it's going to be due around January 26th. Risa was like, oh my God, we really got to get this house now. She goes to Ted and say, when is the inspection going to happen? He said, I'm going to call. He came back and said it's going to happen in 2 days. The inspection came back and they said the roof was replaced. There's only minor issues. We should be set to close in May. Ted says they're preparing to do a virtual closing. Risa still had this nagging feeling that something was wrong. She felt like for some reason they're not getting this house. She didn't even start packing because she didn't believe it. So she continued the audio diaries. She's like, am I going crazy? She's like, what if we don't get this house and he's lying? But why would he lie? Am I jaded? But I watched him pay for everything. Now, they were supposed to close before Memorial's Day. And just as Risa expected, another excuse. They still ended up not closing on the house. June rolls by. Something in Risa's spirit told her to go look at the house on Realtor.com. She checks it out, and the house was now off the market. Risa like, what the hell? Ted just said we're about to close. And he's the one that's been in contract the whole time. Also, it now turns out that the original realtor that was talking to Risa is not involved with any of this. Risa's like, this doesn't make any sense. So she starts doing some digging. She saw a realtor's name and their contact info on the house that was sold. She calls the realtor and says, yo, me and my man really wanted this house. It says it's off the market. Is it no longer available? And the realtor's like, yeah, the sellers closed on the house yesterday. Risa was like, to who? The realtor's like, to an older white couple. And the call ends there. Risa was like, what the fuck? Risa was like, okay, I see what's going on. She makes another audio recording and says, okay, there is no house, and Ted now has to figure out a way to get out of this lie. That means for sure this whole time he was never under contract. So when I ask him about it, he's going to say it's like a bad deal or something. After understanding all of this, Risa made the decision. I'm going to still have this kid. I mean, he's paying all the bills, and I'm going to let him get out of this lie. Which, by the way, guys, when I heard this, I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Why? Ted comes home that day. He doesn't say much. The next day, Risa asks about the house. Ted says he's talking to his realtor and something is wrong with the interest rates. Risa said she felt relieved because she knew he would do that. So she says, okay, let's just not move there. But we need to be moved out by the end of the year. I'm not trying to be 9 months pregnant moving. Ted says, okay, I'm going to go get my 5K back. Risa was like, yeah, go get your 5K back so we can find us a house. Mid-June rolls by, guys. Risa starts cramping and bleeding at work. Earlier that day, she got an ultrasound and everything was fine. But when this happened, she started crying because she was like, I'm pretty sure I know what happened. The doctors call about her ultrasound, and they weren't able to see a heartbeat. Okay, guys, I'm leaving y'all on that cliffhanger. I just turned an hour into 12 minutes. If you want me to keep going, ask for episode 2 in the comments. And we didn't even get to the married part. This is insane. As I always say, guys, what do you think about this?
Yo, I'm exhausted from that ride already.
That's wild. It really is. I can't wait for part 2, though. But I mean, these red flags and these women, I say it like I'm not a woman, we all do it, that we're wearing these rose-colored glasses, that the red flags become purple or yellow and we don't see clearly. But
it's so true. And I find the way he tells the story is great because he really lays out like all the important pieces of info. But it's like to an outside eye, it's so obvious. I mean, I don't know what the answer of what he's all really about, but when she said that was her first red flag, I was like, oh my God, I'm on like number 7.
Yeah.
Like our next prop is going to be a red flag that I can just wave around because what? There was so many elements to that where I was like, this actually makes no sense. Right from date one with the love bombing. I mean, the tire change, classy move. Love that. Gentlemanly, great. But over your first date, you're like, I want marriage, I need babies, I need this, I need whoa. Whoa. I don't believe anything you're saying after that. It's just too fishy. And I wish she did a little more digging like she did about the house, about him.
Well, she's
Like let's
clearly intuitive,
dig.
like starting to record her thoughts, which is really smart.
Really
But I mean,
smart.
it's confusing, like she said, because he's paying for everything. So he's investing in her, in their life together. So it would be a confusing situation to be in.
Absolutely. Especially if everything else is going great. But like the weird thing is this house situation. Because I mean, people can lie about their money, women lie about their age and their weight, men lie about their height and their dick length. Like those are
Yeah.
just common things that we just lie about thanks to like societal pressure. Um, but it's hard to pull off either a career or financial lie whilst providing, because that would confuse me very much as well. Like you
Mhm.
could say you're a billionaire. How would I know any difference if you just bought us $1 million house? Like if you floated the bills for X amount of time. That said, floating rent for 2 months is not that much of a big deal.
Right.
If he's floating rent for the next 3 years and then y'all decide to purchase a house, sure. And it's not even that everything has to take a certain amount of time, but there has to be breathing room for things to just adjust, get to know, become familiar, all of that stuff. The moving in, I mean, I'm guilty of that in my past. I will never do that again. I did the moving in quick. I did the bills on my thing. I was the breadwinner. I've done all those like raise a man, build him up bullshit. I'm over it. Listen, I'm in my 40s. You're either built or you're broken. And in which case, that's the deciding factor right there. I don't have time to raise a grown man. But like the hitting it raw, the pregnancy, that he moved in instead of quarantined, like flag, 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 flag.
Right.
What the fuck?
I
Who
mean,
the fuck?
I think so many of us would be guilty in our relationships of lying at some point, even if it's a small
True.
lie. But this level of deception where there's paperwork, there's the backstory is laid out. This is like psychopath level.
It really is. And yet we live in a world full of narcissists now. And like this is the way people operate. A lot of people choose to operate this way. And it always, like as I was listening, it brought me back to even thoughts of past clients of mine. Cause eventually, if they're long-term clients, you hear, oh, I had to tell the wife this to come see you today, or I had to get out of this business meeting because blah, blah, blah. And so
Mhm.
it's the smaller scale lies, but that's only the ones I'm privy to. What happens if the wife called your office that day at that time and you weren't actually in a meeting? Or no, sorry, he left for blah blah blah. Like, and then you have to lie on top of that. And then by the time you get home, there's another one. And like it spirals. We see it with our girls too, with them juggling relationships. And do they tell the man that I work here? Do I not tell the man that I work here? Like, how do I juggle these things? What do I do with my money? They put like their work clothes in the trunk. Like there's just so many things to have to maneuver around that it ends up like these little fraternities where you share tips. We like the girls will actually share tips with each other on how to keep their boyfriend or husband none the wiser. And the
Mhm.
same goes for online hobbyist communities too, where clients share tips on how to get away with this, and this, or do I need a second phone for bookings, or do I need a private play fund account, and like all these different things
Well,
that if
it's no
people knew it was actually going on, it's crazy.
Yeah, and it's no different than at our spa. Leading up to Christmas is a relatively busy time of year. And it's the one time of year that guys can leave their home, say something simple as, honey, I've got shopping to do. That's
Right.
it. Leave her in suspense, and he's got 2 hours free. Meanwhile, you're ordering on Amazon, you already got the package, and you're just.
It's 100% true, especially even if he is hitting the mall and he's going malling, which I think it's a risky thing altogether these days. But men are efficient when they shop, right? They want to
Yeah.
get the most amount of things, the least amount of time, exactly what they're going for, and exactly right back out again. So if you give yourself like a 3 hour window, they can do their shopping in 20 minutes, no matter the size of the mall.
Yeah.
Like they will go from store, drive around. They're not walking through the mall. Like they will literally be like in and out, in and out, in and out, off to the spa.
Yeah.
And that's a different kind of paper trail, but equally finances involved, right?
Mhm.
And like we've seen it when a wife finds out and they're livid because they automatically equate that money to what it could have been, right?
Mhm.
You're spending our children's college money, or that could have gone for the lawn repairs, and like they just go off on it. And meanwhile, most of them have their own play money that they do their shopping and all their like beauty stuff with, and don't tell your father that it costs
Yeah.
this much to put you in whatever program or. So it's definitely guilty both ways.
Mhm.
It's just hilarious how quickly a snowball can snowball. And the things that we have to do to find our little nuggets of peace and joy and orgasms. I mean, this guy's living his best life. He moved into a 3 bedroom house that was already provided. She cooks, she cleans, they're fucking. Like, all he
She's
has to do is pay
pregnant.
the bills, right?
Yeah.
Change a tire once in a while. Sign me up.
Yeah. Oh, I
So
can't wait
great
for
to
part
me.
two. I gotta see where this goes. I'm so tempted to
I'm
even
so
go
intrigued.
on her TikTok page and watch these 10 or no, there's 50 videos about 10 minutes each. I'm like, do
Something.
I have time to do this? Because I'm interested. He's got me hooked.
It's like a full binge. Like you're binging
Yeah.
something on Netflix. Like it's hilarious. And if you do that, then the bear has to be next because I keep bugging you about watching the bear. But
Yeah.
add this to the list because I'm very tempted as well to go watch it. Yet I like him. I find him funny and entertaining. I like his edits, the little memes he pops up. The
Yeah.
screaming dog was hysterical. So it's I'm torn, dude. But I've seen so many friends posting it in their stories. I've seen like tweets randomly on Twitter today that are like, "I'm only on episode 15, no spoilers." Like episode, like that's
So
what we're
yeah,
calling this.
it's crazy.
It's amazing the viewer retention too. Like I'm impressed with her all around because it's hard to make people watch 5 seconds of a video these days.
Yeah.
But people are like bookmarking and screenshotting so they don't forget where they were on her page. And like it's crazy. Trending is a wild concept. I'll say that. So I think that's all for today. I can't wait to jump into the next one. What do you think, Roy?
I can't wait to see it.
I can't wait. This was a fun one. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. If you find any trending stuff that's hot topics that we need to react to or give our 2 cents on, definitely send those in the DMs on any platform. And make sure you comment below if you've had an experience, something like this, where you woke up one morning going, "Who the fuck do I sleep beside?" We need that in the comments. We need to have a conversation, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the Patreon. We will definitely put something about this, I'm sure, at some point over on the Patreon, depending how spicy this story goes on. But you can find all of our other episodes that are not available on YouTube, that are too hot for YouTube, on the Patreon. Join and follow us on social media. Share the videos to all your friends. And we will see you on the next episode of MUSE on the Mic. Bye,
Bye,
guys.
guys.